You begin by closing your eyes, letting the world of solid shapes and measured seconds slip away. A gentle fog surrounds your thoughts, and in this quiet, you realize that beneath everything you know lies a subtle vibration, a pulse that hints at a hidden order, yet refuses to be pinned down. This is the dance of uncertainty, a soft rhythm that carries the entire cosmos in its breath. Imagine a tiny particle, smaller than the tip of a needle, smaller even than the eye can perceive. It does not march along a set path. It does not know exactly where it will be, and neither do you. Its position is a cloud of probabilities, a delicate haze that stretches in every direction at once. You sense it hovering, teasing your mind with the possibility of countless realities coexisting. In this space, nothing is final. Every moment is a chance for something new to appear, and you, quietly, are a witness. The universe hums in frequencies that you cannot hear, and yet, as you breathe, you feel them reverberate through your chest. These are the whispers of quantum uncertainty, gentle reminders that life is not a single story, but a tapestry woven of endless threads. Each particle, each flicker of energy, is a note in a lullaby that has been playing since the dawn of time. You allow yourself to float within it, letting the rhythm settle over your mind like a soft blanket. In this gentle realm, your sense of time begins to loosen. Seconds stretch and bend, folding softly into one another. You notice that particles can exist in more than one place at a time, that they can overlap, entwine, and separate in the most elegant, fluid of dances. You imagine them as tiny fireflies in a dark forest, each flicker illuminating a path that might be or might not be. Their glow is not predictable, yet it is beautiful in its mystery. You inhale, and in that breath, you feel the intimacy of possibility. Every thought you have, every wish you whisper to yourself, brushes against this uncertain fabric. Perhaps it is you who helps shape it, a gentle observer whose attention coaxes one potential into becoming reality. Or perhaps the universe flows around you, indifferent and infinite, offering countless potentialities and none at all. Either way, you feel a profound serenity in the acknowledgement that not everything must be known. Some things are meant to be imagined, felt, and gently understood without words. As your awareness deepens, you notice how these tiny uncertainties scale up. Not only do particles behave in ways that escape rigid definition, but entire systems follow this fluid principle. Planets, stars, clouds, even the rhythm of your own heartbeat are bound to probabilities and soft nudges of unseen forces. The cosmos itself is not a clock, precise and ticking, but a vast, breathing organism, shifting and changing in ways that are beautiful precisely because they cannot be controlled. The dance of uncertainty is not chaotic, it is a kind of grace. Every particle that wavers in the space between here and there contributes to the delicate balance that sustains galaxies, life, and the quiet beating of your heart. You feel a connection to this vast choreography, as though the fluttering of atoms resonates with your own thoughts. Each inhale and exhale is mirrored in the subtle trembling of matter, and the boundary between self and universe softens. You are not separate from this uncertainty, you are part of it, a note in its ongoing melody. Now, envision the act of observation. When you gently focus your attention, the cloud of possibilities collapses, and one path emerges from the haze. This is not power, not in the harsh sense of control, it is the tender influence of awareness. By noticing, by feeling, by simply existing in this soft, meditative way, you touch the edges of reality, guiding probabilities toward manifestation. Yet even in this act, uncertainty remains. There are paths that evade observation, shadows that drift beyond the light of your consciousness. The dance never ends, it only shifts in rhythm, inviting you to follow along. Let your mind wander further, toward the strange and quiet paradoxes that define this world. A particle can act as both a wave and a particle, a paradox that seems almost playful in its gentle defiance of logic. It reminds you that reality is layered, and that truth is not always singular. You, too, are layered. Thoughts, memories, and emotions coexist, overlapping in ways that cannot be fully separated. There is comfort in this reflection, a softness that comes from knowing that complexity and ambiguity are natural, even beautiful. As you drift deeper into this meditation, imagine that each possibility hums with a gentle light. Some are bright, shimmering with potential, others are dim, almost hidden in shadow. You are aware that your attention can illuminate these possibilities, and yet, no matter which path is touched, the rest remain, waiting, patient and eternal. You feel a quiet awe in this realization. The universe is vast, abundant, and endlessly generous in its offerings. You are free to explore, to imagine, to let your consciousness wander without urgency or expectation. With each gentle exhale, you sense that uncertainty is not a void to fear, but a cradle for curiosity and wonder. It is in this softness, in the tender not knowing, that creativity blooms and insight arises. Your mind moves with ease among the probabilities, slipping through layers of potential and possibility like a soft current flowing beneath the surface of a quiet lake. You feel the unity of all things, the smallest quark, the largest galaxy, your own beating heart, all participating in this meditative dance. Now, your awareness begins to stretch toward the edges of the known, toward questions that cannot yet be answered. How do these whispers of probability give rise to the concrete world you inhabit each day? How does the dance of uncertainty shape the flow of time, the rise of stars, the growth of life, and the quiet moments of your own consciousness? You do not need the answers yet. The questions themselves are a gentle invitation to continue exploring, to allow your mind to float in the soft sea of wonder. And so, you linger in this twilight of possibility. You notice how even the act of listening, of feeling, and of breathing, becomes part of a larger rhythm. You are both observer and participant, a witness to the unfolding mysteries of existence. And as your mind drifts further into this gentle current, you carry with you the quiet knowledge that reality is not fixed, that certainty is an illusion, and that there is a profound, soothing beauty in the soft, endless dance of possibility. The mist of uncertainty does not dissipate, it simply changes shape, curling around your awareness like a warm, familiar blanket. And as you settle into its folds, you sense that the next question, the next layer of the universe, is waiting just beyond, ready to whisper its secrets in the same hushed, gentle tones that first welcomed you here. Last lines, you breathe softly, feeling the gentle pulse of possibilities, and notice that the next secret, the next quiet ripple of reality, waits to be discovered, shimmering just beyond the edge of your awareness, inviting you to follow where it will softly lead. You step softly onto the edge of a river that seems to stretch beyond the horizon, though its waters are quiet and luminous. Each ripple glows faintly, as if light itself has taken residence in the folds of the current. You feel no weight, only a gentle buoyancy, as though your body has learned to breathe in the rhythm of possibility. The river does not rush, it simply flows, carrying with it an invitation, to notice, to linger, to drift. You inhale, and the air tastes like the hush of early morning, cool and subtle, brushing past your awareness with delicate fingers. As you drift, you notice that the water beneath you is not uniform. Some currents sparkle with an iridescence that seems almost alive, tiny sparks flickering like fireflies caught in slow motion. These are paths of potential, the quiet trajectories that reality might follow. Each shimmer hints at a possibility, the life you might have lived, the choice you could have made, the thought that might have whispered differently in another moment. You realize that the river is not just water, but a reflection of your own awareness, bending and folding in response to your gaze. A particle dances near the surface, spinning slowly in place. You lean closer, and in that gentle whirl, you see the echo of countless decisions made before you ever arrived here. One particle splits, almost imperceptibly, forming two paths that diverge like a tiny fork in the river. The split is subtle, yet profound. You understand that each moment, each choice, carries this hidden multiplicity. And within this multiplicity, the universe hums softly, a melody of what might be that resonates through every filament of existence. Your thoughts settle into the rhythm of the river. You do not hurry, nor do you resist, you allow yourself to be carried. Time slows as you move. It is not measured in seconds or minutes but in the gentle unfolding of patterns. You notice how the river curves around obstacles, flowing smoothly past stones that glint with unseen histories. Each rock is like a decision frozen in a moment, shaping the water around it, guiding currents without interference. You sense that every choice you have ever made, or will make, is part of this quiet architecture, a dance between intention and circumstance. Here, in the soft cradle of the river, you begin to perceive the language of probability. Not as a set of numbers, cold and rigid, but as a texture, a sensation beneath your fingertips. Every flicker of light across the water is a whisper of what could unfold. You imagine a leaf drifting past, and in that simple motion, a cascade of potential futures stretches outward, each branch shimmering with gentle light. Some paths curve away, hidden from view, while others shimmer closer, coaxing your attention. And you realize that noticing these patterns does not control them, it simply allows you to witness their delicate choreography. A soft mist rises from the river's surface, curling around you like a silken veil. In the mist, shapes form and dissolve. Memories of moments you have cherished, decisions you have pondered, dreams you have yet to name. The river responds, its currents bending slightly, reflecting the weight of your attention. You understand that your presence matters, not as a master of the flow, but as a participant in its quiet unfolding. Every glance, every breath, is a gentle nudge, a brush of awareness across the infinite canvas of possibilities. The river stretches endlessly, yet its expansiveness does not overwhelm. Instead, it invites intimacy with each path you see. You float past a current that glimmers with soft golden light. A sense of warmth permeates your awareness, a quiet reassurance that not all paths are unknown or perilous. Some shimmer with comfort, with joy, with the gentle satisfaction of moments that feel right simply because they exist. You pause to watch, letting your mind trace the contours of these possibilities. They are like notes in a melody, each distinct, each necessary, yet all blending into the gentle symphony of the river. Your thoughts drift to the particles themselves, those tiny sparks of potential that seem to embody the choices of countless moments. You wonder if they notice you, if in some subtle way, your awareness resonates with theirs. Perhaps it does, for the particles begin to sway as you observe, spinning with a rhythm that mirrors your own heartbeat. It is a reminder that existence is not separate from perception. The world bends in gentle response to the tender gaze of consciousness. Even the tiniest act of noticing becomes a bridge between possibility and manifestation, between the ephemeral and the tangible. A subtle wind rises from the river, carrying the scent of unseen flowers and distant earth. You feel it brush across your skin, a whisper that seems to speak directly to your inner quiet. It says nothing in words, yet you understand. Life, in all its unfolding, is neither rigid nor preordained. It flows like this river, carrying countless tributaries of potential, each waiting for the tender attention of awareness to ripple it into being. You begin to sense that the magic of this river is not in the paths themselves but in your willingness to move with them, to notice their shimmer, to float without fear. Beneath the water, currents twist and spiral in complex geometries, patterns that are both ordered and wild. You watch as a single droplet descends, spiraling into a miniature vortex that seems to mirror the vastness of the river. In that spiral, you sense the multiplicity of moments, each thought, each breath, each fleeting feeling branching into countless outcomes. And yet, there is no chaos here, only a gentle unfolding, a rhythm that feels ancient and familiar. It reminds you that the universe is not a puzzle to be solved but a story to be lived, a soft narrative that bends around your attention with kindness. You drift further, noticing the subtle interplay of light and shadow on the river's surface. Patterns emerge, then dissolve, like fleeting insights into the nature of reality. Sometimes the currents shimmer with silvery blue, sometimes with soft amber, as if the river itself is breathing. You sense that these shifts are neither random nor predetermined, they are the language of possibility made visible. You feel a quiet gratitude for this moment, for the simple act of floating and observing, for the tender recognition that even in stillness, the river is alive, vibrant with the endless dance of potential. The farther you go, the more you notice the branches, subtle divergences that split from the main current. Some curl back toward familiar waters, while others reach outward into unknown expanses. You feel a gentle thrill at the recognition that every choice, every observation, sends ripples through these branches. You do not control them, and yet, your attention is part of their story. Each possibility is like a soft note in an infinite melody, waiting to resonate in the presence of awareness. And you, drifting along this quiet river, are both listener and participant, witness and companion to the tender unfolding of reality. As you move, the river seems to embrace you, its currents both guiding and surrendering to your presence. You sense that this journey is not about arrival but about participation, about noticing the delicate patterns that ripple through each moment. Even the smallest gestures, the quietest thoughts, become part of this dance, contributing to the shimmering lattice of possibility. You feel a deep, quiet understanding. Reality is not rigid, it is pliant, soft, waiting for attention, for gentle presence, for the tender acknowledgement that even the smallest moment holds the potential for wonder. And as the river stretches onward, carrying you toward paths you cannot yet see, you feel the gentle tug of curiosity, the soft promise of discovery. The currents invite you to drift further, to notice more, to become more intimately acquainted with the endless branching of existence. You realize that each ripple, each particle, each shimmering possibility is an invitation to float, to observe, to participate in the quiet, infinite dance of life itself. You close your eyes and imagine a pair of particles, infinitesimally small, yet bound in a dance that transcends distance. One floats in the far reaches of the universe, light years away, while the other rests near you, hidden from sight. And yet, when one moves, the other responds, not by chance, not by some force you can touch, but through a subtle, invisible connection. You inhale slowly, feeling your chest rise, as though your own heartbeat mirrors theirs, as though the rhythm of life itself pulses in tandem with the cosmos. The world you know, with its streets, its trees, its rivers, seems vast and disconnected. Yet here, in this quiet quantum ballet, you sense a deeper unity. Distance becomes irrelevant. Time, in its linear way, feels more like a suggestion than a law. The particles communicate instantly, beyond the reach of light, as if sharing a secret that the universe keeps hidden from the waking mind. You let the thought settle, letting the quiet astonishment wash over you. You imagine yourself as one of the particles, floating freely in space, tethered invisibly to a counterpart far away. In this imagined flight, you notice the subtlest things, the shimmer of photons passing, the gentle tug of gravity that barely disturbs your path, the way emptiness itself seems to hum with possibility. And yet, through all this emptiness, a thread pulls you to another, unseen, unmeasurable, yet undeniably there. You sense it not with your eyes, but with your intuition, the way one feels the approach of dawn before the first light appears. This connection is strange. It defies reason, challenges the structure of thought, and yet it is real. Physicists call it entanglement. You might hear it described in words like correlated states or quantum information, but you feel it in your bones, in the quiet resonance of awareness. Two separate entities, distinct yet intimately bound, responding to each other across space and time. You wonder, if such intimacy exists at the scale of particles, what might it reveal about your own connections, to people, to nature, to the vast canvas of existence? In this gentle reflection, you let your mind drift toward the invisible patterns that hold the universe together. Imagine a spider's web stretched across the dark, and each point of intersection represents a particle, a star, a planet, a life. Pull gently at one point, and the entire web quivers in response. The universe hums in harmony, a song of interaction that never reaches its crescendo, a melody played out in silence. Entanglement is one note in that song, subtle yet profound, a reminder that even what seems apart may be inseparably linked. You breathe, slow and deliberate, and notice that the feeling of connection spreads through your own body. The heart beats in time with the pulse of unseen threads. Your fingers feel as though they are tracing patterns in the air, though nothing tangible exists there. In this meditative awareness, you sense a resonance between your inner world and the cosmos. Perhaps the separation you perceive between you and everything else is an illusion, softened by the tender truth of entanglement. Time itself becomes a fluid companion. You imagine watching the two particles over eons, their shared state untouched by the changes that unfold around them. Galaxies swirl, stars are born and die, black holes whisper in darkness, yet these two remain entwined, dancing in perfect synchronization. Their story is silent, invisible, and yet it carries a quiet certainty. That connection can endure, unobserved, beyond the rules you thought governed all things. You feel a kinship with this endurance, recognizing the small threads in your own life that remain steadfast, unseen yet present. The universe, in its vastness, seems less lonely when you ponder entanglement. If particles separated by incomprehensible distances can respond to one another instantly, perhaps there is a hint of the same for lives, hearts, and minds. You allow the thought to hover, fragile and luminous. Could your own existence be part of a grander, hidden network, where every choice, every sensation, every moment of presence echoes through unseen corridors? The idea is not overwhelming, it is soothing, like a lullaby that drifts through a cathedral of stars. You imagine yourself walking through a quiet field under the night sky, each star a particle, each whisper of light a possibility. Somewhere, a particle far away mirrors your own presence, responding in a cosmic dance. You feel the pull of that connection, as subtle as a breeze brushing across your skin. In this awareness, you notice the threads within yourself. The memories, the emotions, the quiet pulse of attention that links you to what matters most. Entanglement, in this sense, is not just a physical phenomenon. It becomes a metaphor for intimacy, for empathy, for the silent ways in which we resonate with one another. Even in your imagined isolation, you sense that you are never truly alone. The universe hums around you, particles communicating, energies entwining, spaces responding to spaces, bodies to bodies, hearts to hearts. You lie back, and the rhythm of your own breath seems to match the pulse of something far greater, a heartbeat that is not yours alone but shared, diffuse, yet intimately present. You allow yourself to drift along this rhythm, feeling both infinitesimal and infinite, fragile and enduring. Consider the paradox of entanglement, that separation does not preclude unity. Two particles, infinitely distant, can behave as one. And yet, you realize, this principle echoes in your own life. Friends and family, ideas and inspirations, moments and memories, all can resonate across space and time, touching you in ways you might not immediately perceive. You are part of this gentle network, woven into the fabric of reality, and the awareness brings a quiet comfort, a softening of the edges of solitude. As you linger in this contemplation, you notice the silence around you, deep and expansive. It is a silence that is not empty but full of presence, a space in which the unseen bonds of the universe reveal themselves. You hear nothing and yet feel everything, the faint stirrings of particles, the quiet tug of distant galaxies, the subtle echo of shared existence. Each exhale releases tension, each inhale draws in connection, and you feel both grounded and elevated, a participant in a vast, tender, and invisible symphony. You close this meditation by resting in the knowledge that the universe is more intricate, more intimate, more interconnected than you often allow yourself to imagine. The particles, though small and unseen, carry a lesson, that even in separation, there can be unity, and that the ties that bind may be subtle, silent, yet profound. You let this understanding settle into your awareness, feeling it radiate softly through your thoughts, your body, your consciousness. And as your mind drifts, a gentle curiosity stirs. If two particles can mirror each other across vast emptiness, what other mysteries lie quietly in the spaces between, waiting for the soft touch of attention to awaken them? You stand at the edge of a quiet room, where sunlight filters through a window and spills upon the floor like a golden river. The light seems simple, but you sense it carries a secret rhythm. Step closer, and notice it is neither just a beam nor merely a collection of particles. It is both, gently shifting between forms in ways that the eye alone cannot define. You do not need to understand fully, your presence alone is enough to witness this delicate interplay. A particle of light, you might think, carries itself as a speck of certainty. Yet it also ripples, stretching across space as a wave of possibility, shimmering with the soft pulse of potential. It bends around edges, dances through slits, and disappears in one place only to appear in another. The world invites you to linger here, in this soft ambiguity where the laws of what you know meet the poetry of what you can only feel. As you breathe slowly, the rhythm of the room aligns with the rhythm of your heartbeat. Each inhale carries a subtle curiosity, each exhale releases the need to define. You feel the gentle tug of reality, like a melody you half remember from a dream. In this space, observation is not a tool of certainty, but a tender conversation. Your gaze touches the universe lightly, and in return, it shifts, nudges, and whispers its complexity. Consider a single drop of water falling into a quiet pond. The ripples spread outward in perfect circles, yet the water itself remains undivided, a seamless flow of connected moments. Light, in its own way, behaves similarly. When you watch it pass through a prism, colors emerge, yet the source is unchanged. You feel a quiet wonder, realizing that the universe often reveals itself not in absolutes, but in the soft blending of contrasts. Step closer still, and notice the particles within your own body, electrons spinning, colliding, dancing in invisible patterns. They are like the sunlight, both here and there, following rules yet breaking them, contained yet free. Your body is not separate from the universe, it mirrors its fluidity. You sense the subtle hum of atoms communicating in a language older than thought. In this space, duality feels like a gift, a gentle reminder that existence is never fixed but always in motion. The air around you seems to vibrate, not with sound but with possibility. Each photon brushes past, leaving traces of what could be, shimmering just beyond grasp. You realize that observation itself is a form of intimacy. As your attention rests upon the world, it bends slightly toward you, molding itself into shapes you can perceive. Yet the deeper truth remains, you are part of the dance, not merely an onlooker. In this gentle entanglement, curiosity and reality coalesce, forming a pattern that is at once intimate and infinite. Imagine the vast night sky, each star a distant sun, each sun a possibility of light and shadow, matter and energy. The same principles that guide photons guide galaxies, stretching across unimaginable distances. You feel the pull of this cosmic rhythm as it mirrors the quiet pulse within your own chest. To see is to participate, to witness is to be woven into the fabric of a universe that refuses to be pinned down. In this space, duality becomes a lullaby. You rest in its soft contradictions, letting them soothe the mind rather than challenge it. Now, close your eyes and imagine walking along a quiet stream at dawn. Mist curls lazily above the water, and the light refracts through droplets in a myriad of shifting colors. Each droplet is a prism, each reflection a whisper of the underlying structure of reality. You sense the wave and the particle at once, the drop solid, yet composed of vibrating energy, the light casting shadows that are both real and ephemeral. The world invites patience here, a slow, deliberate noticing that feels like meditation. Your mind, often eager to categorize and define, now finds delight in ambiguity. The boundaries blur. What is solid seems liquid, what is singular seems infinite. You move through the space like a gentle tide, observing the coalescence of dualities. This is the rhythm of quantum whispers, a conversation older than language, carried in light, water, and air. You realize that uncertainty is not absence but invitation, a space where imagination and reality meet, hand in hand. As the day progresses, your awareness shifts from the distant stars to the intimate minutiae. Dust particles float lazily in sunbeams, each one a tiny world, reflecting, refracting, and reframing the light around it. Even the smallest motions are imbued with life, hinting at the complexity beneath surfaces. You notice how perception itself is a gentle sculptor, drawing forms into being with each moment of attention. The universe is patient, allowing you to linger, to breathe, to watch without urgency. In this soft observation, a gentle peace arises. You sense the duality not as a paradox to solve, but as a melody to feel. The world neither demands your certainty nor rushes to resolve itself. You rest in the awareness that reality, like your own thoughts, is fluid, shimmering, and quietly unfolding. This is a space where curiosity is a form of tenderness, where understanding grows slowly, like moss on stone, resilient and patient. You notice the subtle echoes of waves and particles in everything, the flicker of candlelight, the quiver of leaves in a breeze, the heartbeat of a small bird perched nearby. Each is a reminder that duality permeates all layers of existence, connecting the smallest scale to the grandest cosmos. Your attention, soft and unwavering, reveals that connection. You begin to see the world as a continuous flow, each moment a bridge between what is and what could be. As night falls, the sky stretches above, a canvas of dark velvet dotted with points of light. You sense the invisible dance of photons traveling across years, crossing the emptiness to meet your eyes. Each glimmer is a story of duality, of energy and form intertwined. You breathe slowly, letting the wonder settle into your chest, feeling the resonance of something greater than yourself. You are a witness and a participant, an observer and a co-creator, intertwined with the rhythm of reality itself. Finally, you lie down, letting your body sink into comfort, your mind tracing the soft contours of existence. The duality of particle and wave hums quietly in your awareness, a gentle lullaby that does not end but flows into itself. You feel the tender ambiguity of being, the quiet certainty that comes not from answers, but from noticing. In this calm space, the universe leans closer, inviting you to continue the journey, to explore the next layer of its ever-unfolding mystery, where time and space stretch like gentle tides waiting for your mind to drift along with them. You begin by noticing the world not as a static tableau, but as a living web of potential. Each moment brims with countless possibilities, like ripples in a quiet pond, waiting for the tender touch of your gaze. As your awareness touches the edge of a moment, it softly folds one possibility into the shape of presence. This folding is gentle, not abrupt. It is a lullaby whispered to the universe, a subtle coaxing that encourages the unformed to become. In the quiet of your observation, you feel a peculiar warmth. It is the warmth of participation, of knowing that watching is not a passive act, but a subtle shaping of reality itself. You, the observer, are entwined with what you observe, like a thread pulled through the fabric of existence. Each glance, each heartbeat, each inhalation of curiosity nudges the world toward a form that has never existed before. You notice the tiny particles in a beam of sunlight, their paths dancing in accordance with unseen rules, yet guided gently by the act of being seen. Time slows. You become aware of the rhythm of chance, a soft, irregular pulse that hums beneath everything. Randomness is not chaotic here, it is a delicate improvisation, a quiet improvisatory dance of existence. Your mind, usually rushing, now drifts with these rhythms. You feel the tender responsibility of witnessing, yet it is a comfort rather than a burden. Observation is a lullaby for your consciousness, a soft scaffolding that allows the mind to rest while remaining awake. You imagine a single atom, poised in space, vibrating in its own tiny symphony. When you notice it, the atom's possibilities gently narrow. It is not a collapse into limitation but an unfolding into being. You understand that you are not imposing force but lending presence. The atom and your awareness co-author its story, and in this co-authorship, a subtle intimacy blooms. You sense the cosmos itself leaning into your quiet attention, grateful for your soft companionship. Around you, the world murmurs in subtle patterns. Leaves on a distant tree shimmer in the wind, casting fragmented shadows that twist and weave. Each shadow is both what it is and what it might have been. Your eyes rest on them without hurry, allowing the potential within each flicker to gently settle into form. The act of noticing does not bind the world harshly, it simply coaxes it to reveal a whisper of its truth. You are like a gardener, tending the unfolding of reality with patient, loving care. Your thoughts drift, blending with the rhythm of creation. You imagine each particle in the air, each photon of light, as a note in a quiet symphony. The world is not a machine, and you are not a mechanic. You are a listener, a gentle composer, nudging notes into resonance with your attention. Each observation is a brushstroke on an infinite canvas, and you, in your calm presence, allow the picture to emerge in its own time. You notice your own breath, slow and even, a steady counterpoint to the subtle dance of chance. With each inhale, you gather the possibilities around you. With each exhale, you release the gentle tension that comes from not knowing. This rhythm mirrors the unfolding of reality itself, a continuous interplay of potential and form, of question and answer, of uncertainty and the soft assurance of presence. You understand, in this quiet moment, that uncertainty is not a void but fertile ground, a cradle where new forms can emerge. As you observe, you feel the ripple effect of your attention. It is not dramatic, not violent, but subtle and pervasive. A particle shifts here, a flicker of light bends there. Somewhere, a molecule aligns just so, as if to acknowledge your gentle gaze. This is not magic in the theatrical sense, but a poetry that emerges from intimacy. The universe, in its vastness, is responsive to quiet care. You, as an observer, are an essential part of the unfolding, a soft sculptor of reality's narrative. You reflect on the notion of collapse, not as loss but as birth. The many potential paths a particle might take narrow into one, forming a delicate bridge between possibility and reality. And in this bridge, you sense a lullaby, a quiet melody of order emerging naturally, without force, without rush. You are present for the emergence, and in your presence, it becomes conscious, radiant, gentle. The more you linger, the more you notice subtleties. Shadows overlap, light scatters in unexpected arcs, and the air carries a gentle hum of life. You are neither separate from this unfolding nor fully entangled. You exist in a harmonious balance, an intermediary between potential and form. Your mind softens, your senses expand, and you begin to perceive layers of subtle creation previously unnoticed. Each sight, each sound, each shimmer is a small testament to the intimate dance of observation and emergence. You feel a quiet gratitude for the tender responsibility of presence. It is neither heavy nor urgent. You are a companion to the universe's unfolding, not a master of it. Every pause, every inhalation, every soft thought is an invitation for the world to reveal a whisper of its hidden choreography. You rest in this companionship, understanding that watching is itself a gentle form of creation. Moments blend, particles settle, and light continues its soft choreography across surfaces. You recognize a pattern, not as a final statement but as an evolving conversation between chance and your attentive gaze. The world is not static, and neither is your observation. Together, they form a slow, harmonious dialogue. And within this dialogue, there is a profound comfort, the knowledge that reality is responsive, tender, and alive with possibility. As your awareness drifts, you feel the edges of curiosity expanding outward, toward new questions, new dances of chance and presence. You sense that observation is not an ending but an invitation, a doorway into deeper rhythms, subtler harmonies. The particles of light and matter continue their quiet symphony, and you, in your calm presence, remain a gentle part of their unfolding. And in this quiet, reflective moment, as shadows settle and light softens, you realize that the act of noticing is itself a lullaby, a song of creation, softly sung by the universe and mirrored in your attentive mind. The gentle sculpting continues, and the next layer of wonder waits, quietly, just beyond the horizon of your awareness. You step into a corridor of infinite doors, each one slightly ajar, each one promising a soft murmur of perhaps. The air is thick with quiet anticipation, a gentle hum that seems to belong neither to the present nor the past, but to the tender space in between. Here, you notice that the world does not demand certainty. Instead, it offers possibility, cradled lightly in the arms of probability. Each door you pass shifts imperceptibly, a subtle sway as if it senses your attention, your curiosity, and allows you just a glimpse of what might be. Shadows stretch along the walls, elongated and fluid, moving in response to your presence. They are not frightening, not dark in a harsh way, but soft and pliant, like velvet draped over unseen shapes. These shadows are the echoes of chance, the quiet reminder that every moment contains multitudes. You feel them brush against your awareness, each one a whisper of what could have been, and still might be. In the spaces between the shadows, a faint glimmering of light pulses, a rhythm almost like breathing. The corridor itself seems to breathe with the universe, a slow inhalation and exhalation that invites you to match its pace. With each step, you notice that the floor beneath your feet is uneven yet forgiving. Tiny ripples form with every touch, reminding you that your presence subtly shifts the balance of things. It is here, in this delicate interplay of movement and stillness, that the notion of probability becomes tangible. Each choice, each hesitation, each glance, is a stone tossed into a pond of infinite potential. You see the ripples spread outward, faint concentric circles that touch other stones, other possibilities, in ways you cannot fully predict. As you walk, you begin to hear soft, almost musical patterns. They are not sounds that demand your intellect, but tones that invite your intuition to wander. Perhaps they are the murmurs of particles, quivering in their tiny orbits, or maybe the resonance of energy itself, brushing against the subtle fabric of the universe. You realize that in this space, the boundaries between science and poetry blur. Probability is not cold and abstract, it is a gentle story, a rhythm of what might emerge from the quiet patience of the cosmos. A doorway opens to your left, and you step closer. Inside, tiny motes of light float lazily in a golden haze. They drift without hurry, brushing past each other with the grace of dancers who know no audience. You understand that these motes are possibilities, the seeds of events that might take shape in infinite ways. Some seem almost familiar, echoing paths you have walked in your life, others are utterly alien, strange in their elegance. You reach out, and your fingers trace a path through the haze, creating faint trails of luminescence that linger for a heartbeat before fading. Each trail is a choice, a gentle shaping of the currents of chance. The corridor shifts as you move forward. No step is wasted, yet nothing is fixed. You notice tiny signs along the walls, fractals etched in faint silver, spiraling endlessly. They seem to repeat patterns from nature, the unfurling of a fern, the curl of a nautilus shell, the branching of river streams. Here, mathematics becomes a language of poetry, and probability writes in a script of delicate symmetry. The patterns remind you that chaos is never purely disorderly. It dances alongside order, sometimes brushing close enough to touch, sometimes retreating into subtle mystery. A gentle breeze flows through the corridor, carrying the faint scent of rain on warm stone. It mingles with the light, and suddenly the possibilities shimmer more distinctly. You feel the sensation of standing at a crossroads where each potential path is vivid, yet intangible, like reflections on water. You can sense how one step might alter another, how a single pause might ripple through countless outcomes. Here, you are both observer and participant, entwined with the gentle flux of the universe. Time seems to stretch and bend in these corridors. Seconds elongate, allowing you to savor the infinitesimal probabilities that weave together the tapestry of existence. You notice that some doors close quietly behind you, while others appear just beyond the edge of your vision, waiting for a soft nudge of attention. There is no hurry, no compulsion, only a quiet invitation to move through the currents of what could be. You begin to sense that every moment is an ecosystem of possibilities, fragile yet resilient, fleeting yet eternal. In a quiet alcove, a small pool of water rests, reflecting the shifting lights above. You peer into it and see not just your own reflection, but glimpses of alternate selves. Each self is a possibility realized differently, a step taken here, a word spoken there, a thought entertained or ignored. Some reflections smile gently at you, while others simply observe with quiet patience. You feel the tender weight of these echoes, realizing that probability carries not just chance, but the subtle poetry of experience itself. The corridor narrows, and a low hum resonates in the walls. You recognize it as the voice of uncertainty, soft but insistent. It tells you that nothing is fixed, that the future is not a rigid path, but a living garden of might-be moments. And yet, within this uncertainty lies comfort, a delicate symmetry between freedom and form. You feel the gentle reassurance that not all must be known, that mystery itself is a balm for the mind and spirit. You continue walking, aware that each step is both insignificant and monumental, like the flutter of a butterfly's wing in a vast sky. Probability is a companion here, neither cruel nor benevolent, simply attentive to the quiet unfolding of events. You sense that every possibility carries within it a story, a microcosm of meaning waiting to be discovered. Even the smallest choice hums with potential, vibrating softly through the corridors and into spaces you cannot yet see. Eventually, the corridor seems to open into a larger hall, where the light is warmer and the shadows play more freely. Here, possibilities mingle, intertwining like currents in a slow river. You feel a sense of reverence, recognizing that the universe is alive not only in its laws and matter but in its endless capacity for what if. This hall is a sanctuary of gentle curiosity, a reminder that to dwell in uncertainty is to inhabit a space of profound creativity and tender reflection. As you pause, you notice a door slightly ajar at the far end of the hall, its frame bathed in soft, golden light. It beckons not with urgency but with quiet invitation. You understand that each corridor, each shadow, each whisper of possibility, leads you here, to another doorway, another threshold of gentle exploration. The universe, in its infinite patience, allows you to linger, to observe, and to drift forward at your own rhythm. And as you prepare to step closer, you feel the subtle pulse of potential all around you, a reminder that the story is never complete, that each moment is a doorway, and that every choice, no matter how small, carries the soft weight of what might be. You step softly into a garden where the very air seems alive, shimmering with invisible threads that guide each movement. Around you, delicate blossoms hover in spaces that are almost empty, yet profoundly full. Each particle is a tiny dance of possibility, a gentle flutter of potential waiting to be realized. You notice that no two motions are the same. The garden does not rush, yet it never pauses. Time here is not a strict line but a slow, spiraling current, carrying you along with it. The blossoms respond to your presence, not in fear or in obligation, but with a subtle acknowledgement, as if sensing your curiosity. They move according to laws that are invisible, yet their rhythm is deeply familiar. You can almost feel the soft mathematics beneath the surface, the probabilities that dictate each sway and twirl. It is a world where chance is not random chaos, but a quiet conversation between every particle and the space around it. As you wander, you notice the light filtering through these airy blooms. It breaks into glimmers, scattering in tiny prisms that seem to float independently. The air carries the faint scent of imagined flowers, sweet and clean, and each breath you take is full of calm wonder. You feel a resonance in your chest, a gentle echo of the unseen structures that cradle this garden. It is as if your heart has learned a secret rhythm, one that matches the silent pulse of the cosmos. Here, the idea of solidness begins to soften. Rocks are not merely heavy, they are gatherings of countless particles, each swaying in its own miniature garden of probability. Water is not simply wet and flowing, it is a chorus of movements, each droplet exploring countless paths at once, revealing the subtle ways in which the universe allows freedom within order. Even air, which seems formless, is a canvas for infinite possibility, bending and folding with the quiet rules that govern the garden. You pause near a cluster of blossoms that shimmer with soft blue hues, watching their gentle arcs. Each movement is a tiny negotiation between randomness and constraint. You begin to sense that what you see is not the whole story. There are countless motions that are never realized, paths that remain whispers of potential. And yet, these unseen possibilities shape the shapes that bloom before you. You feel a soft awe for the hidden, the imperceptible, the gentle ghost of what could have been. As you move deeper, the garden shifts. Patterns emerge, not rigid, not fixed, but flowing mosaics of light and movement. You see echoes of larger structures mirrored in these tiny dances, spirals, waves, and branching paths that remind you of rivers, neural networks, and tree roots. It is as if the universe loves to repeat itself, quietly reflecting its own structure across every scale. Each particle is a story, and each story is part of a greater narrative that you can only glimpse, never fully grasp. A breeze brushes past you, and the blossoms respond instantly. The response is not identical each time. Subtle differences emerge, tiny variations that feel like breathing. You realize that probability is not cold or distant, it is gentle, playful, and intimate. The world is not a strict machine but a living, breathing tapestry of chance and order. And in this tapestry, you sense your own reflection. Your thoughts, your pauses, your choices ripple outward in ways both subtle and profound, part of the same soft current that moves every particle in the garden. You reach a small pond, its surface alive with tiny ripples that glint with light. Each ripple is like a miniature wave of probability, spreading outward and folding upon itself in intricate patterns. You watch the water and feel your mind expand with the understanding that everything is interconnected. The pond is both calm and dynamic, holding the memory of each particle's movement while simultaneously inviting countless new possibilities. In this reflection, you see yourself not as separate, but as part of the endless, elegant unfolding of the universe. Time drifts gently as you explore, your senses fully immersed in this quiet, probabilistic ballet. You notice that your own breathing matches the rhythm of the garden, slow and deliberate. Each inhale brings awareness of the countless unseen movements around you, each exhale releases tension and embraces the flow. You feel a deep peace in understanding that uncertainty is not something to fear, it is the very source of the garden's beauty, the reason for its gentle unpredictability. The blossoms begin to glow with soft, ephemeral colors that shift like memory. You reach out, and though you cannot touch them as solid objects, you feel their presence as an energy, a subtle warmth that brushes against your fingertips. It is a reminder that connection does not always require physical contact, that the universe whispers in frequencies our senses can only partially perceive. You are both observer and participant, entwined with the garden in ways that are invisible yet unmistakable. As you walk along a winding path, you see that some blossoms drift slowly toward one another, merging briefly before floating apart. These encounters are fleeting yet meaningful, like conversations or glances that pass between strangers yet leave traces in the world. You realize that each interaction in this garden is a reflection of a deeper principle. The dance of possibility is woven into everything, from the smallest particle to the vast arcs of galaxies. Light begins to soften further, and the edges of the garden blur into gentle shadows. You feel the pull of something larger, a horizon of thought that beckons you beyond what you can see. Probability, you understand, is not confined to this garden alone. It stretches across the universe, shaping stars, atoms, and even the moments of your own life. The quiet beauty of uncertainty is everywhere, waiting for you to notice it, to rest within it, and to let it guide your steps. Your journey through the blossoms slows as the day seems to stretch into a calm, timeless space. You feel gratitude for the subtle, intricate movements that surround you, for the gentle interplay of chance and pattern that makes this garden breathe. In each pause, each glimmer of light, you sense the infinite care of the cosmos, the tender architecture that allows for growth, wonder, and reflection. Finally, you rest beneath a larger bloom, its petals wide and soft, encompassing the rhythm of all the smaller movements. You close your eyes and feel a soft pulse, not just of your own heartbeat, but of the universe's gentle, probabilistic dance. Each particle, each motion, each possibility is part of an unending flow, a whisper of the greater story that stretches beyond your sight. And as you lie there, bathed in the quiet glow of unseen probabilities, you sense the faint beginnings of a new journey, a path that leads deeper into the mysteries of how this subtle, beautiful order unfolds into the light and shadow of reality, and how your own inner rhythms might echo in ways you have yet to discover. You awaken in a vast, quiet ocean. Not the kind of ocean with crashing waves or roaring winds, but an ocean of light and thought, where each ripple carries a subtle vibration, a soft pulse that resonates gently with your own heartbeat. You notice how each layer of this ocean mirrors another, reflections folding over themselves in patterns you almost recognize, like a dream recalling another dream. Here, in this luminous water, there is no rush, no urgency. Time itself seems to breathe slowly, expanding and contracting in harmony with the waves that rise and fall around you. Your gaze drifts over the surface of this cosmic water. Each ripple seems to carry a story, a tiny shift in reality that suggests infinite possibilities. You watch as one wave folds into another, a quiet choreography of cause and effect that is both precise and fluid. The edges of each ripple blur into the next, and you realize that no line is truly separate. There are no rigid boundaries, only gentle transitions, soft thresholds where one moment melts into another. You feel, perhaps for the first time, how deeply intertwined everything is, your thoughts, your breath, and the subtle rhythms of the universe. A small pulse travels through the water beneath you, and it matches your heartbeat. You sense a resonance, a vibration that seems both external and internal. It is as if the ocean itself is breathing with you, expanding in moments of stillness and contracting in gentle rhythm. Each wave becomes a mirror of your own inner movement, reflecting not only what you see but also what you feel. You imagine that if you could focus just slightly, you might see the faint outlines of your thoughts traced across the water, like delicate ripples that fade only to reappear in another pattern. The layers of light beneath the surface shimmer as though they contain a hidden melody, one that is not heard but felt. You realize that each layer carries information, a subtle encoding of the universe's quiet stories. A wave lifts and folds back on itself, revealing a tiny spark at its center. You reach toward it, not with your hand, but with your attention, and the spark resonates with a gentle warmth. It feels like recognition, a small acknowledgement from the universe that you are noticing, that you are participating in this silent, intricate dance. You begin to sense that these waves are not simply shapes in the water but expressions of possibility. Each one contains a path that could unfold, a choice embedded in the soft curvature of its surface. Some waves collapse quickly into themselves, vanishing as soon as they appear, while others linger, creating patterns that echo across the ocean. You understand that in this vast reflection, nothing is wasted. Every ripple matters, every fold contributes to the subtle architecture of reality. Even the quiet, almost imperceptible movements leave traces, soft signatures of existence that you carry with you, even if only in the awareness of your attention. As you float, you notice the horizon. Not a sharp line, but a gentle blending of ocean into sky, of light into thought. The horizon itself seems alive, pulsing with a slow, rhythmic energy that calls you forward without urgency. You feel invited to drift, to follow the currents of reflection as they guide you through this layered reality. You sense that each layer has its own language, a pattern of motion and vibration that speaks in rhythm rather than words. It is an intuitive language, one that you feel rather than hear, a gentle translation of cosmic logic into sensation. A wave rises beneath you, taller than the others, and it moves with deliberate slowness. You allow yourself to rise with it, feeling the subtle lift and then the gradual descent. The experience is both intimate and vast. You are small enough to feel its nuances, yet expansive enough to sense its connection to countless other waves. You realize that your own attention changes the flow subtly, like a gentle wind nudging the surface of the water. This is not control, not dominance, but participation, a soft collaboration with the rhythm of reality. In this ocean, patterns begin to emerge. You notice spirals forming in the light beneath the waves, delicate coils that expand and contract with a pulse that feels ancient. Each spiral seems to contain a universe within it, a tiny cosmos of possibilities that echo larger structures beyond your immediate perception. You imagine that the universe itself is like this ocean, folding over itself in layers, creating complexity from simple, recurring rhythms. You wonder, with soft curiosity, if each thought you have carries a ripple as subtle and meaningful as these spirals. The water beneath you carries a faint warmth now, a gentle glow that spreads slowly through your body. You feel as if the ocean recognizes your presence, acknowledging your consciousness without expectation or judgment. There is a calm intelligence in the movement of the waves, a sense of guidance that is neither forceful nor insistent. You sense that each layer of reflection offers an invitation, to observe, to notice, to participate without interference. You are learning a subtle art, the quiet craft of being present in a reality that mirrors itself endlessly. You begin to notice connections between layers more clearly. A ripple in one layer is mirrored in the layer beneath it, then again in the one above. Patterns weave together like threads in a vast tapestry, each fold resonating with another in ways that are delicate and intricate. You feel your own thoughts aligning with these rhythms, your breathing syncing with the undulating light. There is a softness to the motion, a tender coherence that feels both grounding and expansive. You begin to sense that the universe does not rush, it simply unfolds, layer by layer, wave by wave, in quiet, measured pulses. In your mind's eye, you trace a single ripple as it expands outward. It touches others, joins with them, and then folds back into itself. You recognize a kind of impermanence here, nothing remains fixed, yet nothing is lost. Each wave contributes to the larger pattern, carrying a trace of its existence into the ongoing motion of the ocean. You feel a gentle awe at this continuity, a calm understanding that being part of the flow means both presence and surrender. The ocean does not demand, and yet it gives generously, a lesson in effortless participation. As the waves continue their rhythmic dance, you notice a faint glow at the horizon, a promise of light yet to come. You are drawn toward it, not with urgency, but with a sense of quiet anticipation. Each step, each breath, aligns with the subtle pulses that ripple through the ocean of reflection. You sense that the journey is continuous, that each moment of awareness unfolds naturally into the next. You allow yourself to drift further, knowing that the patterns you observe now will guide you gently toward the unfolding horizon, toward the deeper layers yet unseen. And so you float, wave after wave, layer after layer, noticing the gentle interplay of reflection and resonance, the quiet symphony of possibilities. The ocean invites you to linger, to surrender to its slow, rhythmic motion, to feel the tender interconnections that bind thought, light, and existence together. With each ripple, you sense that the universe is not separate from you, but a reflection of your own attentive presence, moving and breathing in concert with your awareness. You notice a faint pulse, softer than the rest, emanating from a point just beyond the horizon, whispering of connections deeper than any wave you have yet encountered, hinting at patterns that fold upon themselves in ways the mind can only dream of. You begin your journey in a space that feels both familiar and mysterious, where the light bends softly around corners you didn't know existed. The air carries a weightless whisper, a vibration almost too subtle to hear, yet it resonates within your chest. Each step you take sends ripples across the fabric of existence, and as you move, you notice how the universe seems to breathe with you. Tiny motes of dust dance in shafts of golden light, yet each one feels like a miniature sun, illuminating small stories of movement and interaction. You reach out, but your hand passes through them as though acknowledging their presence is enough. It is in this gentle observation that you start to feel the deep thread of connection, the invisible dance between all things, where even the smallest particle has a quiet voice. Probability hums softly in the spaces between the known and the unknown. You sense it not as numbers or equations, but as a gentle potentiality, a garden of possible paths that the universe could take. You watch a single particle shift slightly, like a leaf trembling in the wind, and realize that it could have moved in countless other directions. Yet this direction, this moment, is the one that exists, chosen yet free, delicate yet strong. In this quiet contemplation, you feel a subtle release. The weight of needing to know everything lifts, replaced by the comfort of wondering. A wave of light sweeps across your vision, slow and deliberate. It does not illuminate as harshly as the sun does, but caresses, revealing textures that hide in plain sight. You notice the shimmer along a blade of grass, the pulse of a leaf's edge, the reflection of the sky in a droplet of water. Each light wave is a gentle message, a reminder that the universe is alive with patterns too intricate to see all at once. You breathe in this realization and let it settle, like a soft sigh against your ribs. Time stretches and contracts around you, not as a rigid line but as a fluid river. You move within its current and notice how memories and possibilities drift beside you like drifting lanterns on water. Some glow warmly, familiar and comforting. Others flicker faintly, unfamiliar, hinting at experiences you have yet to meet. You do not reach for them, yet you allow yourself to be bathed in their presence, letting the soft light of potential soothe your mind. In this rhythm, you feel the gentle pulse of existence, a subtle heartbeat beneath the quiet surface of things. You wander further into a glade of crystalline clarity. Here, each atom seems to vibrate in perfect harmony, a symphony of unseen energy. You lean closer to listen, and the faintest notes touch your consciousness, echoing a language older than thought. It is not one to be understood fully, only felt. And you do, sensing the resonance of your own mind with the world around you. There is a subtle joy in this silent communion, a deep relaxation in the realization that you are neither separate nor lost. You are a part of the infinite hum, a note among countless others, each contributing to a whole greater than itself. A gentle breeze sweeps through, carrying with it tiny, sparkling motes, like miniature stars caught in the folds of reality. You watch them drift and twirl, each following its own unpredictable path. Probability seems alive here, almost playful, as if it nudges the world along invisible tracks while keeping countless doors open. You reach out with your awareness, and the particles respond softly, bending slightly, acknowledging the touch of your attention. In this moment, you feel a quiet kinship with everything around you. Even randomness has its rhythm, its own quiet sense of order. The world seems to pulse with awareness, not conscious in the way you are, but sensitive in a way that feels like a reflection of your own mind. Patterns emerge slowly, fractals in leaves, spirals in clouds, the repeating cadence of waves on water. You notice them not analytically, but intuitively, as a soft recognition that these structures, no matter how complex, mirror the gentle logic of your own thoughts. Understanding is not demanded, it arrives as a whisper, a quiet permission to simply be present. You allow yourself to float within it, suspended in the gentle embrace of knowing and not knowing simultaneously. A soft haze of color drifts in the distance, subtle gradients of blues and golds merging with the warm glow of twilight. It spreads like a gentle tide, washing over your senses. In it, you see the flow of energy, the ceaseless movement of electrons, photons, and waves. It is not overwhelming, but tender, as though the universe itself is breathing slowly, deliberately, in sync with your own inhalations and exhalations. You feel the gentle touch of the cosmos upon your skin, the faint hum beneath your feet, a delicate reassurance that even in stillness, there is motion, and even in solitude, there is connection. You pause by a pool of reflective water. Its surface mirrors the sky, yet beneath, currents move silently, invisible yet alive. Droplets fall and spread concentric circles outward, each a soft punctuation of change, a quiet testament to the interplay of cause and effect. You notice how the water's surface responds differently to each ripple, yet ultimately flows back into harmony. It reminds you that even in the apparent chaos of life, there is a rhythm, a subtle intelligence that guides the whole. You lean closer and see yourself mirrored, not just your physical form, but a reflection of your own awareness, intertwined with the patterns of the universe. As night begins to settle, the stars awaken gradually, each one a distant sun casting gentle warmth across the void. Their light travels vast distances, slow and patient, carrying with it the story of countless eons. You feel a soft kinship with these distant fires, a recognition that though your journey is fleeting in cosmic terms, it is no less meaningful. Each breath, each thought, each quiet observation contributes to the unfolding pattern of existence. You are both participant and witness, moving gently within the lattice of light and probability. A quiet fog of understanding drifts in, wrapping you in the tender embrace of acceptance. You sense that there is no need to grasp everything at once. The universe will reveal itself in layers, slowly, like petals unfurling. You breathe in the stillness and let it fill the spaces between your thoughts. In this meditative pause, you feel the connection to all things, the small and the vast, the fleeting and the eternal. Your mind softens, your heart opens, and you realize that calm reflection itself illuminates the hidden patterns, like moonlight tracing the curves of a quiet forest. You continue your walk through this gentle landscape, each step carrying you deeper into the quiet mystery of existence. The air vibrates softly with unseen energy, the path ahead uncertain yet inviting. You notice the soft luminescence of life all around, particles, waves, light, consciousness, each interacting subtly, tenderly, in ways that hint at greater complexity. You are neither rushed nor pressured to understand, the journey itself is enough. And as you move forward, a sense of peace settles over you, a calm recognition that the act of observation is itself a form of participation in the universe's unfolding story. The soft veil of reality remains, delicate and shimmering, inviting you to linger, to wonder, to dream. You take a slow breath, letting the quietness expand within you. Each pulse of your being resonates with the rhythm of all things, a gentle echo of a universe that is always in motion, always unfolding. And as you look ahead, you sense that this journey is only beginning, that the mysteries of probability, light, and interconnectedness await in the next step, ready to guide you into deeper awareness, where reflection becomes dream, and dreams become understanding.